Yeah, the story of GTA 4 is Nico arrives in America and helps his cousin with his problems, and then he has to save him from Darko Burbage. And he's like this big enemy in the beginning. He takes care of him. He goes after Darden, and he takes out Peter in the court, basketball court. And then at the end of the game, he takes care of Pecorino because he goes after him because he takes out a Kate, and Kate was like really innocent, you know. She didn't do nothing to Nico. Now Nico got really angry about it because he cared about her, you know, and he liked talking about his past with her and all the conversation. And he wasn't really he wanted revenge, you know, because she didn't deserve it, especially on a wedding. Like you don't want to expect that on something like that on a wedding. You wouldn't. But then he chases her, and then he goes to Happiness Island, which is based off the Statue of Liberty in real life. And then he confronts him and says, "I told you to leave me alone." He did all these jobs for these people. He did one job for Packy. He did one from Michelle, was who was this corrupt government, really corrupt uh, FBI government. And then that's where you meet ULP, which helps her. He's the guy that helps Nico find Taco Bell, where we got it for him at the end of the game. And then he's like, "You remember me?" When he but finds him, but when he take chooses to kill him, he doesn't feel any better. You know, he feels more empty. So it's better to let him go at missions, especially someone. Yeah. And then you do missions with John for Valley in the hospital. And then he has him take out what is it? He has him do 3 jobs for him, and then that's it. And then Pecorino asks him Nico to do the deal, but it's difficult because Dimitri is the main antagonist, and he betrayed Nico in the warehouse, so it wasn't worth it. So I always choose revenge because you gotta use your thinker. If you do the deal, Dimitri doesn't forget about you and takes out one Roman. And even in that one, you wouldn't really feel any better. And even in revenge, you see both endings involve someone's death. Both of them. No matter what you choose, if you choose Kate's advice, not not to work with Dimitri, she dies. If you choose Roman's advice, he dies. You see, like both stories, you know, both half of the stories of GTA 4, both of them, they both involve someone's death. So it doesn't matter what if you choose or uh the deal, because both of them involve someone's death, both of them. And now, in the Lost and Damned, I'll explain this. Yeah, the Lost and Damned. Johnny is this the Lost and Damned involves team effort. You see, you could call for backup from Terry and Clay. Terry and Clay will provide backup when in the mission this stuff is cursed, the betrayal mission and the Lost and Damned. Basically, what happens is he says they're ready to sell, but in reality, they weren't ready to sell. they try to kill Jim and Johnny. They had to run for their lives, escape, and go through this big shootout. And then at the end, when they leave, you see Billy getting caught by the cops and getting sent to the Albany State Correctional Facility, which is actually where Jerry is kept in GTA 4. Yeah. And then, yeah, then they run this big Lost MC clubhouse, and you could do various activities in there. Like, you could go on the internet, and the internet cafe, there, you could use your computer as the internet cafe, basically. And then at the last mission, Get Lost, Stubbs helps Johnny get to Billy to take him out in the jail. Not to free him, but to take him out. And then Ash in the ending calls, there was one is with Ashley, like saying Johnny said, not this time. You can tell yourself on your own. Goodbye, Ash. And then Stubbs calls and says, and he said, I see you dealt with this problem you have. Is it back to normal at the Lost Motorcycle Club? And he's like, no, it ain't Stubbs. And then in the ballad, Luis runs like a nightclub. It's called Mason and Nine. And then Desi is the bouncer of Mason and Nine. And then and then Luis helps his mom deal with her debt problems. And then he deals with this guy, Santo, for threatening his mom and claiming to burn down her home. And he dealt with her. If you don't take a dive, which intentionally means lose the fight, you would have to like take him out basically. And it's a good ending because people like him, you don't really wanna listen to him, especially through his attitude, his personality. You wouldn't trust him. And then you have the diamond disaster. The diamond disaster happens starts out in Frosting the Cake. They they go to this dock. Yeah, he tries to get the diamonds off the cook, when in reality it was Bulgaren diamonds. You find out that out in cross here cross cross in Bulgaren's last mission, basically. In the crosshairs, there you go. In the crosshairs, that's when you find out that it's the Bulgarins. And then Luis and Bulgarin wants Luis and Tony killed because of it. Because he bought the diamonds without even knowing it was Bulgarins. Like, how were they supposed to know, right? So now, yeah, then he sends like thousands of guys after Luis. Even in the GTA 4, in the one mission, the diamonds are the girl's best friend. He has he has both Nico and Luis killed with his hitman basically. And then in the part of Party's Over mission, he has to go to a club because Rocco's there. Rocco's another protagonist. He leaves Liberty City, and it turns out he goes to Los Santos in the credits. But yeah, Rocco's really annoying. He causes major problems. He sends Tony on ridiculous missions, and and he almost had killed more times, so many times. Yeah, that's not cool, And then he takes out then Luis takes out his uncle, and then Rocco gets agitated. He's like, "You're both dead, the both of you. To come any second, the next fucking cross." And then Luis and Tony kick him out, and then Ray Bogorn's guys come, and then they attack the club, and then they go. Luis goes to Tony's house, and then he tries to. They go to Fly Island because Bogren and his right hand man Timmer, they doing like a deal, and then he takes his right hand man Tim, what's his name, right hand man, yeah, and the airport, the plane area, he takes out Bulgaren, and that's the end of Bulgaren. Then people think everyone thought that he died, but he stood back when the plane half of the plane broke off, and then he dies off the thing, and then he goes to the Monaco, and then that's when you find this guy from GTA 4 that Vlad yells at in the beginning of the game, and he basically becomes a millionaire. He becomes this millionaire, and he gets all excited, and then Tony and Luis talk the one last time, and they say, like, you did it, you saved my life and everything, and then Rusev comes, he's cool, funny, and then he's like, I love everyone. And then they like go to for a walk, and then that's how the story of the Battle of Gay Tony ends. But then there's end credits with Brucey and Maury. They settle in with a boxing match, basically fighting cage match, and then the last end credit is Packy goes to the airport. You don't know where he's going in the battle because it's the end credit, but it turns out in GTA 5 they're in Los Santos. And that's when you recruit Packy as a crew member. But yeah, I just wanted to explain all of this stuff with the GTA 4 series because you have Grand Theft Auto 4, The Lost in Them, and The Ballad of Gay Tony. So you got three stories, 3 stars. You got Nico as a hired for gun. You got Johnny running the Lost MC motorcycle, and then you got Luis running the nightclubs. So yeah, all good stories. Play them if you haven't, and like this video and comment down below what you think of this. And I'll see you guys in the next one. See you later.